Hi everybody, Trini John here from Simpler Trading. This is going to be our Monday premium video. I'm going to be covering two names that I'm interested in from a supply and demand perspective. We'll go over that. We'll look at the big picture, the small picture of two names. So the first one is going to be McDonald's. Now I closed this position on Friday just because of the big move up, and I was able to capitalize off of this move. So I want to go over this with you, and I don't think that the move is over. So I believe the move is just getting started. But again, I took some of my chips off the table on Friday as I will be out of pocket Monday and Tuesday, and then I will reassess. But I want to show you what I'm looking at. If you're interested, this could be a trade idea for you. So let's go ahead and get started. So the reason why I took McDonald's a couple days ago was because we were coming into this really nice pocket of demand. And if you look here on a weekly chart, I identified the inside and up formation. And one thing that I took into consideration as well is just like how much this has been pulling back. Matter of fact, ever since January, you can see here, we've been making lower highs. And anytime there's a name that I find that is not only just a popular name or a big beta name or something that we know, right, that there's value here at McDonald's, I want to know where is it pulling back to from a higher time frame perspective. Are we coming into some sort of demand, say on a quarterly or a monthly chart? Again, all these things are really important to me. So look, 1, 2, 3 months down in a row. I want to be looking, hey, is there something here? The first thing I notice on the monthly is we keep creating these sticks or these wicks coming in right around this area. So this tells me if I were to drop the time frame from a monthly, I'm going to find something on a smaller time frame. And there it was right there. That is your weekly demand zone. And so again, we took the trade as it came in here, and as it popped up, it did very well. These contracts went, I want to say like maybe 3 or 4. No, actually, sorry, from 5 to about 11. I closed out at 9 on Friday, but I think there's room left here. Now, there are a couple things we want to take into consideration. So, we do have on the 3rd, which is tomorrow, we have a dividend that is paying out. So, if we get a pullback here, what I want to see, if for some reason we get a pullback towards 255 to 253, I want to get engaged again to the upside. Now, it doesn't have to just because there's a dividend coming. What I love about Friday's candle and to close out the week is that it turned into a hammer and it turned into what we call an inside candle. So this would be my initial, okay, the previous week, that's the body. And as long as this candle is closing, and it closed inside the body, this is an inside candle. And what we could see here is an inside and up formation. So going into this next week, even if we get the dip, okay, what I want to see is that price will close over the body. So we want to see, perfect. I'd like to see it pull back a little bit and then do something like this and we go inside and up. My targets to the upside are 262 and 267. Current price is at 258. Now, why is this important? Because when we're looking at buying the option, we want to pay attention to the ATR, the average trading range, average true range. If you notice here, the weekly ATR is around $9.80. Now, again, that's average. It doesn't mean that it can't beat or not get there, in 1 week. It could explode all the way up to, 285. We just don't know that. But we want to be smart and we don't want to trade outside of that. So if my levels to the upside are 262, you can see that's only about 3 and some change away. And if we were to hit 267, then you're looking at about $9. Well, this target falls right in line with that ATR. So again, this would be my target. Now, I always like to think, and this might throw you off a little bit, that I'm going to be wrong. All right, so that my expectations aren't too high. And therefore, I would be buying at least 2 weeks. So if we get the dip, what I'd be looking at is trying to buy, whether you want to do at the monies or just out of the money, probably no lower than a 40 delta on the option strike. But my overall sentiment is that the demand level holds and that we're looking for price to move up into this supply zone. Now, we can break this supply zone into quarters. So what we do is we use this tool here. I'm going to use the supply zone. So our targets within the zone 272, 76, 81, and 85. All right. I don't want you to buy too far out of the money because the probabilities of doing well decrease. So again, at the monies, if we pull back here, or no more than delta 40s. Now, far as the, or no less than delta 40s. Far as stop goes on something like this, depending on how much time you're buying, so we're saying 2+ weeks out at least, or I'd say the monthly expiration actually. Let's just go with the monthly expiration, and that would put us at, give me 1 second, please, as I come over here and take a look at that. Yeah, that's going to be 21 June, so 19 days. So you're looking at 19 days. And on McDonald's, if I'm looking for a move in a 267, just to give you an idea, like the 262 and a halfs are only $2 by 214. That's not bad at all, considering this thing could really get up there. Now that is a 34 delta, and then your 44 delta, which is the 260 call, is running at 292 by 310 before the close. All right. So not bad prices. And again, if I can get those 260 calls on a pullback towards that 255, 253 level, if indeed it does pull back, then that's what I'm interested in buying, the 21 Junes. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me. My next name is going to be JPM. So JPM's looking pretty nice here. It was up $3.30 or 1.66% there on Friday. And you could see that we have what's called a double inside formation. Okay. The next thing I notice is that it's come back to my demand zone. 2 weeks ago, it worked very well. And this week, or this past week, it came into the trendy cloud to that EMA and bounce. So this demand zone, a lot like McDonald's, is working. And, can this thing make all-time highs? Possibly. All right. So new all-time highs. So what I want to do, since I have no structure up and to the left over here, and one way to verify that we have no structure, watch this. This is important. We taught this in our class. We're going to hit this. Matter of fact, sorry, I'm going to go over to the quarterly, and I want to make sure that when we're on this monthly or quarterly, that it is right here where it says max. Okay, very important. Let's go to time frame. Notice right here it says max available. That is very important to understand if you are at all-time highs or not. Max gives me, since the inception that JPM was on the charts, that looking at this, there is no structure up above this, okay? Because I know that, that means I'm going to have to come in here and use a Fibonacci extension. And we just went over this in the class, guys. So you'll know exactly what I'm doing here. I want to pick a range that, I want to trade within. Everybody is different, okay? So I'm going to use right here, okay, where the inside and up started. So that up candle, I'm going to use the bottom of that wick. I'm going to take my fib extension. I'm going to click the bottom of that wick. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to come over here and make sure that the crosshairs are lined up with the all-time high. And then I'm going to double click. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Double click. And what I like to use is the 23 and the 50. All right. Now, each one of these levels to the upside are going to be resistance until proven otherwise. I like to use the 23 and the 50 as our first line of target. Okay, so this would be that JPM indeed makes an all-time high. Now I'm going to take these off just for now. That's going to be my target to the upside. Now the question is, if this gets going, okay, can it hit here within a specific time that you want to be in a trade? Not everybody wants to be in for several weeks. So again, we're going to take our eyes over here to the ATR, and it's telling me that JPM can run about 7.36. And if you add that into this, you're going to see that's going to put us up into our target. So far as probabilities are concerned with the ATR and everything's behind us and it can work, would say that I could hit this extension target to the upside, but we don't want to buy the 209 unless you're going for that lotto type trade. So what I would say is this. One, we notice that the 9 EMA is holding. We notice that we have a trendy edge here, and that trendy edge is identifying a playing field um, of supply. So we would expect rejection in this area. So what I'm looking for, I'm going to take my Fibonacci's, I'm going to go from the pivot low, and I'm going to push it here in the expectation that price will move there. And where I would like to buy, let's say it gaps up and rejects like I want it to, where I want to buy is somewhere between 202 to 201. Now, let's say we gap down tonight. Well, then I want to take into consideration that I want to buy around the 50 or the 618. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take the entire block here and I'm going to call this my entry point. Okay. So right here, we'll go just above it and a little bit below it. This is going to be entry. Now, there's different ways of doing this. I can scale into this position if I want to, or I can go full on. And if it closes below this box, then I'll get out of the trade. The concentration that I want to do here is going to be, again, I believe probably 21 June. Let's go to JPM. Yeah, we have 21 Junes here as well. Um, just to give you an idea, the two tens are only 98 cents by a dollar. We actually on Friday had 3,500 volume on that, and at the money's 205s, just outside of the money, sorry, 205s were 262 by 269 with also 3,400 on volume here. And a matter of fact, just looking at the options chain, it looks like a called debit spread, buying the 205s and selling the 210. So that obviously that is using this level here, all right, and using this level, and again, identifying a nice call debit. Now, me personally, I'm not, I love spreads and I'll use them, but I usually use spreads if I don't feel convicted because my risk is smaller. This trade, I feel a little bit more convicted. I just want to buy straight up. So just like the last name that we talked about, McDonald's, I want to buy at the monies, in the monies. I mean, they're pretty inexpensive, and I want to stay in the trade until 21 June. And the idea, as long as the weekly can hold above this 199 level, I want to stay in the trade. If for some reason towards Friday the trade is closing under 199, then that's a different story. So far as a stop is concerned, this is very important for you to understand on any trade that I'm talking about. I can give a plan, and my idea of the plan could be different than yours. I find that even when I buy 3 weeks out, I'll find somebody that says, "Well, I just want to buy a week." Well, that's a whole different plan, right? Because your probabilities are a little less. A lot of cases, depending on what these numbers are. So again, my plan would be again buying the 21 Junes, and I'm more focused on the bigger picture. Therefore, I'm not going to close this trade just because it were to drop down underneath here. I would have to come into the weekly because I'm going to respect the time frame that I'm doing my analysis on. And as long as the weekly, meaning by Friday, right? That doesn't matter if Monday and Tuesday pulls back a little bit here. All I care about is whether or not by Friday that we're above this box or in this box. If we're under it, I get stopped out. So I can scale into the trade. Here's an idea as well. You could do this with McDonald's. I could say, let's just say that I like to do 5 contracts. All right. And I'm going to start with 2 here. And if we dip back, I add another one here. And if we kind of come down to the bottom line, I'll add another one there. And then if we break above, I'll add another one there. Then I'm fully invested into this trade. And again, I'm looking for that move to the upside. So one, you can go full in, you can scale in. It's totally up to you guys. But this is my blueprint. This is what I want to hold by Friday's close this Friday, which is going to be the 7th. Okay, and my targets are 209 up to 213, and anything that would void this trade would be a close underneath this level on Friday. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I hope you have an amazing day. See you soon.